Alright, so welcome back to another Python tutorial. So recall that last time in the tutorial we talked about number, string, variable, and casting. So today we're going to start this tutorial and more. Start with this and next 3 tutorial. We're going to talk about Python collections. So, which is other 4 types. It's also important data types in Python, and we're going to take a look. So the first type we're going to take a look is called list, which is a collection that is ordered and it's changeable. Means you can change the element and it ordered based on your option. Allow duplicate members, allow duplicate elements. So we're going to practice to use terminal today. So recall that make a folder with directory, you can type make dir, and we can say make directory video 3, cd video 3. Let's change the directory. ls miss list, nothing, okay. So you're going to first create a file and call it list 0.py. So what this all does is create a simple list. That's all it is in this file. So how to create a list in Python? Well, a list, if you're familiar with other languages, also known as array. It's just commonly referred to list because it's more beginner-friendly language. So like everyone can understand a list, but maybe not everyone can understand an array. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick today, so sorry about that. So to create a list, we can say that like example list equals empty bracket, right? So we can say like let me put some initial value in, like 10, 20, 30, apple, banana. What else did we learn? We learned string. I'm also going to put a boolean value in. True, false, none. Okay, so let's just talk about these two, because these three is also another 2 types of data structure, data type. These 2 is called boolean, which basically means either true or either false, either 0 or either 1. So like 2 options. Either the light is turned on or turned off, something like that. So this is called boolean value, which is basically commonly referred to true or false. A none, which literally means none. Okay. Alright, so this is our example list. And then I'm going to create another Python file called list1.py. Which this refers to, we're going to say how to get the elements, how to access elements. So the list is an iterable data type, which means you can access an element by their index number. So what do you mean by index number? Well, if we go back to here, the position of where this element located is called index number. So remember, it's 0 index. So in computer programming, in computing, generally speaking, it always starts with 0. So we can say 10 is in this array or in this list. It's at position 0, 20 is position 1, 30 is position 2, so on and so forth. So, for example, if you want to access this list, okay, but before I do that, I want to do a little bit extension. I don't really want to type this whole list again. I don't want to put them into the same file, so they actually serve a little bit different purpose. So I can actually say from list 0 import example list. So what this does is it should be getting this file and import it. So we can try to print out example list. Even though it's not working, it should be working. So if we try to run Python 3 list 1.py, indeed, what you saw is we imported this list to this Python file. That's how you can import like variable and functions, which we're going to talk about later. Function. And you can see a PyCache generated because we're actually importing stuff. So yeah. And to access this, we can say print example list 0. So this gets the position 0. So this get the element located in position 0, or in English, first element. Okay, so this is so let me comment on this side because I have some additional comment here. So we're going to say this is called how could you access elements. So access elements. Alright. So that's how could you get element located in position 0. But what if you want to get the last element? Well, there are actually multiple ways to do it. So get the last element. How can we do that? Well, there's multiple ways, as I said. So first is we're going to use a method, or a function actually. It's called len. What len does is return a number of items in a container, if you wish. So if I put example list here, and then if I let this print, let's pay attention to the second number print out. It says 8. That means there's 8 elements in it. And if I would try to get the example list, actually, just type it here, and use bracket notation to get it. And second error we got, I believe, hopefully. But we'll get a lot of error along the way, just so you know. So we get an index there, so this index out of range. So what's my mistake here? Well, recall that it's always start with 0. So even if this element does have 8 elements in it, that doesn't mean the last element is at position it. It's always at the length of the element minus 1 because of that 0. So we need to add minus 1 here, which then we got none as our last element. Actually, let me just put it here. And let me copy and paste using len minus 1. Well, there's actually another way to get it. It's called negative indexing. So if you want to get the last element in that array, you could do this. Say print example list, then we can say -1. Indeed, you see none again, which means get the last element. So -1 is to get the last element. -2 is obviously the element 4, so on and so forth. Okay. So what if you want to get a range of value? What a range of indexes? Well, you can get a range of indexes using notation like this. So get a range of elements. Let's just say from position 2, index number 2 to 5. How about that? Well, we can say something like this. Example list. And then we can say negative, we can say 2 colon 5. This is a notation that you can get the range of value. And if you pay attention to the last elements that print out to our terminal, we saw another list. It's 30 apple banana. That means the index number 2 is 30. Number 3 is apple, and number 4 is banana. Well, it's kind of inclusive, so well, let me double check, because if it doesn't print out. So it's 0, 1, 2. Okay, so these two, that means it doesn't include the last element, but include the first. So doesn't include last number, but include first. Alright. So for that Discord chat. And now we're going to talk about method. So, whoops, should we move to here? Alright, so we're going to talk about method. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about some common method going to do. So, same, I'm going to import. Sorry about the Discord chat. I'm gonna mute them right now. So, and I'm joining the hackathon on my teammate. So, sorry about that. So method for a list. The first method we're going to talk about is the most common method. It's called append method. So, what if you want to add element? Well, you can use append method. So we can say example list dot append. So we're going to add the element to the end of the list. So if we want to say, let's go ahead and add orange to the list. How about that? And now, if I say print example list, Python 3 message.py, you saw orange also get printed out. Alright. Next is gonna clear. So clear, which going to remove all the elements from list, remove all elements from the given list. So what if I want to say, let me just remove all the elements, say example dot clear, and print out example list. And now indeed what you saw in the second line is empty list. Alright, next what we are going to do is going to return a copy of the list. Okay, you will say, hey, why did I do that? Well, sometimes if you, especially when you're using function, and one of your parameter is a list, you don't want to directly modify that parameter to store the copy of it, to modify your copy. So you can say copy, which is copy, return a copy of the list. So if we see example.list.copy, let's now print that out. Indeed, you see an empty list, but why though? I expect to see this. When it shows an empty list. Well, that's because just like most of the languages execute from top to the bottom, left to right. And unfortunately, we already cleared this list. That's why you're probably going to use a copy. So we actually exactly going to move this up. I'm going to make a copy of it. So you can say another list equal to example list dot copy. This just return the value. And then if I want to say another list, now pay attention to the second elements I printed out, which is exactly the same. Now after I clear it, I still have another list for me to use. Next we're going to talk about is count, which return the number of occurrence with specific value. Alright, so if I want to say, let's say another list, the count, let me say count 0. What do we got? Let's try to print that out because it's a return value. It said 1, so we do have a 0. So we specified value. I don't see a 0 here actually. Well, let's try 10. 11. Okay, so probably have 0 somewhere, but I didn't notice it. So it returns occurrence of a number. And another is extent, which is add the element of a list or any iterable to the end of the current list. Okay, so it's sort of like a pen. So if I want to say extend add element to the end of the list, we can say another list dot extend. Let's try to add a list. I'll just say 0, 1, 2, 3. We can also add a list to there. And let's try to print out another list. Sorry if the term is gonna get messy really quick because the number of values. So you can see it add all of the elements to here. Okay, it add all of the elements to here. Instead of direct adding array, it just separate them into different value. Next is index, which is going to return the first occurrence of a element. So if I want to say print out another list dot index of 0. You see 6, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think something is wrong, but I don't know where. That's index. We can also use insert to insert in certain position. Certain position. So if we say another list, the insert so actually forgot how to use it. Is that like that? Well, yeah, it doesn't return any error. So I'm gonna try to print out another list. Now you see 2 insert to the first place. Okay. So the parameter is position index number with the value. And now we're going to talk about how to remove it. Okay, so how to remove certain elements. So pop is remove the element as specified index index number. So I can say another list dot pop, just pop the first element. Print another list, which we should see the first list should be begin with 2 now. Indeed, begin with 2. And we can also type remove, which remove an element at specified value. Another list dot remove, just remove 0, and print another list. Excuse me. And then it should remove the first 0. I don't really know. Where is it? So that's how you do remove. And last 2 is one of the reverse, which reverse the order. So we can say print another list, the reverse. Okay. So this is print out another list. And now you see a reverse entire order from 2 20 30 blah 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 1 2 3 2 3 2 1 blah 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 30 22. And now last we're gonna sort. So sort the list. So we say another list. Whoops, for some reason go up there. So another list dot sort. Okay, so now you see another type error. So since this is a mixed type mixed, so it's doesn't really sort it because it cannot sort star and int together. So yeah, but if it's just string, it should sort from alphabetical order A to Z. If it's just numbers, should sort from smallest to biggest. And yeah, so that's our tutorial on list. If you have any comments, please comment below and please subscribe. Yeah, thanks for watching, and next time I'm gonna talk about tuple.